valley, but most of our vineyards are on mountain hillsides, and we feel that that's where you get the most character out of your wines. And so we farm really difficult places like Annapolis, the Sonoma Coast. In Anderson Valley, we have vineyards that are anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 foot elevation, and so that's really the essence of the company. I think is to try and achieve greatness.
Mm-hmm. We've heard that, I guess, kind of even stemming back from the times of, or quotes of Jess. What is it? Am I getting it right? Or somebody help me. Hillsides, benches, slopes. There's a fourth one.
I think maybe ridges.
Ridges, yeah. So you said difficult farming makes the best wine. Is that something you guys? I mean, obviously, you're continuing it now. Is that so? Is most of your investments toward those goals, toward those premium, high altitude wines?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you take a look in the Napa Valley. Our vineyards are up on Veeder, Howell Mountain, Spring Mountain, Alexander Mountain Estate in Alexander. That's about 800 acres of planted vineyard on mountain terrain, and we have a few vineyards that are production sites, but for the most part we have vineyards where our cost of goods are very high. There's no easy way. It's hard to mechanize these vineyards, even though we're working on that. Machines don't do well on rocky terrain and mountains. So it takes a lot of resources.
I like that. There's no easy way. Are you involved with Oregon as well? And
yeah.
Are you?
We've been very involved in the Oregon acquisitions. Katie and I have our own vineyard in Oregon, our own investments called Bramble Hill Vineyard, and that's in the Ribbon Ridge AVA. So we have 20 acres of planted vines. We have mostly Wadensville and Pomard planted on our property. But yeah, we love the Oregon wine scene, and part of the Oregon AVA is that you really don't see any vineyards planted under 200 foot elevation. Most everything is the good terroir is between 400 and 600 feet elevation, and that's where our focus is. Personally, and as a company.
How much do you know about the the international production or development? Whether it's Europe or South Africa or are you involved with that, or do you is there as much development going on there as well, or?
Well, Katie and I worked harvest in 2010 at Yangara and the McLaren Vale, and that's a thing vineyard. They're biodynamic and organic, and so they're really focused on those aspects. So it's slightly different from what we do here, but that they definitely have some good ideas coming out of McLaren Vale.
Right.
Yeah, but we're not, in terms of developing new vineyards, we're not doing a lot internationally right now, except in Italy. We're looking at planting a couple of new blocks, but for the most the vineyards we have in France and we've already established, and in Australia the same. South Africa, we bought. We just have one vineyard, the Steinbach Vineyard, which was there, and then
we're currently developing.
We're developing a little bit more.
Yeah, about 5 acres or so.
Mm-hmm. And in Italy, we're doing. I don't know how many acres right now, but that's probably the one looking to have some new vines going in as well.
But it's very difficult in Italy to get permits to do new plantings. I mean, the government's so strict there, and so you pretty much have to go out and buy vineyard up there, which is what we did this last year.
They try to protect other forms of agriculture, other land uses. So they, for instance, we've got a lot of olives on our property there, and in order to plant new vineyards, by taking out olives, we'd have to replant the olives somewhere else, and so you basically have to take out vineyards, plant vineyard there.
That's right.
Wow.
So yeah, I think.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I think the growth opportunities to me are definitely in Oregon, also maybe into Mendocino County up here.
Hey, Sean, one last question, unless somebody else has something. What do you think the most important sustainable practices in terms of the impact on the quality itself of the wine? Like which sustainable practices, there's the idea of, okay, we want this to last for generations, and your kids are very important. Maybe you could touch on that as well. But just in terms of the quality of the wine, how does sustainability make it better? Or what practices really improve or maintain high results?
Well, I think you look back over the last 20 years, and UC Davis, had this wonderful rootstock program where they're almost like designer rootstocks, 420A, 10114, all these devigorizing rootstocks. And I think the goal was to sort of devigorize the vine so that you could get higher quality grapes, smaller berries. The vine struggles a little bit more. But, a lot of our grade A sites, some of our best vineyards are on rootstocks like AXR or St. George, 1103 Paulson. These are rootstocks that are super vigorous, and they seem to mine minerals and water more effectively than the weaker rootstocks. And so I think going forward, my plan in all the vineyards that and new developments is to use strong rootstocks. And what's going to happen is in the first few years of development, you're not going to get the good quality grapes that you want because the vine's probably going to be over vigorous. It's going to be growing too much vegetatively. It's not really focused fruit yet because the rootstock is so strong. But I think over the next 10 years after that, when the vine starts to get used to the site it's growing on, we balance it out through timely hand practices, and we train the vine. I think vineyards should last, 50, 60 years. We shouldn't think of them as 20 to 30 year investment. I think, we'll also be using less water over time because these vines will be able to survive drought a lot. And so I know UC Davis is working on some of these stronger rootstocks that are more drought tolerant, and I think that's the way to go. But yeah, I think there will be a sacrifice in the first few years of production.
That's super interesting. Geeky and interesting. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to do things right now. Farming, there's no shortcuts here. We have to do things right to take care of the vineyards, take care of the land, so that all the future generations will be able to do what we're doing, which is just a fun lifestyle to me.
Nice.
in agrarian style.
Right.
Not to
Hey, Don, any
interrupt.
other thoughts?
Not to interrupt you, Ken, but Don had to run out really quick. So, if other than if you have anything else, go.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had to run out.
Kim, any thoughts?
No, all sounds great. I've been taking vigorous notes over here. It's very interesting to hear about,
Good.
the whole everything. So thank you very much for taking the time to hear our questions and whatnot. We're excited for moving forward.
Yeah, I really find that very interesting. Your last thoughts about investing in vines that last 60 years, etc. Love it. All right. Well, thank you, Katie and Sean. It's really a pleasure to have you guys on the phone. And we'll be in touch if we have any other thoughts. Amy, thank you for coordinating this and organizing.
Of course.
And enjoy your kids, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ken, thank you.
Has left